There are some amazing abilities and weapons you can unlock in Ghost of Yotei, like a special katana attack that summons a lightning bolt, an extremely powerful quick-fire pistol, and some amazing additions to your ranged arsenal. Some of these are pretty well hidden though, so let me tell you how to get them. Now, while your tools are very useful in their base form, some can be significantly improved with special charms, like the charm of Venomous Cloud for the Metsubushi. As you might expect from the name, this adds a dose of poison to your throwing sand that slowly builds stagger on an affected enemy. The charm is also upgradable, so the more you use it, the more stagger you will eventually build. You will get better options to blind enemies later in the game, which I'll also go over in this video, but the ability to both take an opponent out of the fight and build stagger on them is pretty amazing. For this one, you want to head to the Nakajima Sake house in Teshio Ridge, the region of the map where the Kitsune hides. You'll have to progress through some of the main story to get to this region, but once you're there, you can head straight to this location, enter the Sake house, and talk to the blind monk that's being harassed by a Ronin. Simply complete the short side quest he offers you to gain this powerful charm. And if you don't have the Metsubushi yet, simply complete the Crow Genso target on the bounty board from the Yotei Shadow Inn. We talked about that and way more amazing unlocks in our early things video, so I'll leave a link to it in the video description. But my absolute favorite tool, and probably my favorite addition in Ghost of Yotei, is the TanZutsu pistol. Why? Well, because it's effectively Bloodborne's gun parry mechanic added to 17th century Japan, and it is incredibly satisfying to use. While you can use the TanZutsu to simply shoot and deal health and stagger damage, the best way to utilize the pistol is to shoot an enemy while they are attacking. This triggers a pistol parry, often dealing enough damage to take out regular enemies, while also setting up stronger foes for a follow-up execution attack that will likely finish them off. The only downside to this weapon is that you unlock it relatively late, as you need access to Oshima Coast, which only becomes available after you hunt down the Oni and the Kitsune. After that, one of your companions will inform you about a man called Matchlock Murata, who is waiting for you on the western side of the region. Simply go to him and complete his quest to be rewarded with this amazing tool. He can also upgrade it to increase the damage and stagger, but you're better off spending those resources on other upgrades for the time being, because even in its base form, the TanZutsu is incredibly powerful. A returning favorite from Tsushima are your various types of bombs, and these throwable items are of course perfect to wreak havoc on groups of enemies. The first type you unlock, Scorch bombs, deal massive damage in a large radius and set enemies on fire, and they can be upgraded to increase the radius, damage, and the effectiveness of the burning effect, so all very worthwhile. Next to that, you can also unlock blind bombs, which, as you might have guessed, blind enemies in a small area of effect. Unlike the Metsubushi, this can easily hit multiple enemies actually, and upgrading the bomb to increase the radius and the lingering effects make it very similar in function to a smoke bomb. But the big advantage for these is that you can of course throw them anywhere, whereas you can only throw a smoke bomb at your feet as a means of escape, so they're much more versatile. In order to get both of these, you want to reach the plains area of the map that's occupied by the Oni, then head to the Otaru Hills over here on the map. You'll know you've reached the right place once you hear the sound of bombs going off in the distance, which is kind of hard to miss, so head towards the sound and complete the side quest that triggers to unlock the Scorch bomb. Doing so also adds the NPC Ina to your wolf pack, who can upgrade your bombs and immediately offers you a second quest you want to complete in order to also unlock the blind bombs. Now, something that works a little bit different in Ghost of Yotei is unlocking new ammo types for your ranged weapons. Previously, you'd unlock them through character side quests, but now you actually gain access to new arrows and bullets by simply upgrading your weapons. However, you'll notice that you need Oni Raider masks as well as Shinobi Steel. The first can be earned by defeating Oni Raiders in the Ishikari Plains, and Shinobi Steel is looted from the Ninetales faction in Teshio Ridge. You can already unlock both regions early to start earning these resources, which is a good idea in general if you want to upgrade gear fast. For the short bow, you gain access to incendiary arrows and poison arrows. I don't think the first one needs an explanation, but poison actually does a lot of things that are handy. Like the poison effect on the Metsubushi, it builds stagger over time, and when the bar is full, enemies will actually drop to the ground, allowing you to perform an execution on them. It also makes them vulnerable to any weapon, so you can quickly hit a strong target with one of these to debuff them and kill them quicker. For the longbow, you'll unlock disarming arrows and explosive arrows by upgrading the weapon. The disarming arrows are a bit lackluster in my opinion, since it doesn't make a lot of sense to disarm an enemy from afar, as this gives them plenty of time to grab their weapon back up. However, the explosive arrows are just as powerful as they were in Tsushima, as the wide radius of the explosion easily helps you take out multiple enemies. So it definitely makes sense to upgrade the weapon all the way to gain access to these. Now let's move on to that amazing charm that summons a lightning strike, and real quick, if you like the video so so far, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for way more Yotei videos like this. Now some of your spirit attacks can also be upgraded with charms, and the most exciting one for sure is the charm of Takemikazuchi. While the name might not sound familiar, the effect certainly is, as the perk is the same as the Heavenly Rebuke charm from Tsushima. In case you need a refresher, that's the one that grants your Heavenly Slash a chance to trigger a lightning strike on a nearby enemy, which is very strong, and of course it also looks awesome. There is now a 30-second cooldown on this effect, so you won't see it appear too often, but in Tsushima this charm was exclusive to New Game Plus, while now you can unlock it with a ton of things left to do in your first playthrough. Do keep in mind that you do of course have to unlock the Heavenly Slash from the katana weapon tree in order to use the charm. You also need access to Oshima Coast again to unlock it, but this time we're going to the southeastern part of the region to the Budding Grey Shrine over here on the map. Simply climb all the way up to the shrine to add this powerful charm to your arsenal. There's also a ton of weapon techniques you can learn in Yotei. We already discussed spirit attacks for the new weapons in our all weapons video, link to that one will be in the video description, but there's also a very powerful returning technique that's made even better in the hands of the Onryo. And that technique is the Dance of Wrath, which lets you perform 3 unblockable strikes that can be redirected so you can jump between targets. That sounds pretty familiar if you used it in the first game, but new for Yotei is the fact that these strikes also disarm enemies, leaving them defenseless and giving you a lot of extra throwables, which are very powerful. So an already great ability that is made even better, and in order to get it, we want to start the mythic tale that starts over here at the Forgotten Shrine in the western part of Oshima Coast. The quest itself is very straightforward, but one thing to keep in mind is that there are some extra cosmetics you can pick up in the quest area, so make sure to keep an eye out for those. And while exploration is incredibly rewarding in Yotei, you don't want to overlook the golden main story missions, as these contain some very powerful unlocks too. The Way of the Flame, or Oni's Fire as it's now called, is unlocked during your hunt for the Oni in the Ishikari Plains. And likewise, smoke bombs and the ability to listen for enemies are unlocked by going after the Kitsune, so if you like playing stealthily, you might want to head there first in order to grab these crucial unlocks. One of your new weapons, the Tanegashima rifle, is also unlocked through a later main story mission. This weapon is a beast and can take out most enemies with a single body shot, but it is of course extremely loud, so unlike your other 2 ranged weapons, it's not exactly a suitable tool for stealth. And while you get it relatively late into the story, the Tanegashima rifle also has an incredibly powerful secondary ammo type that you want to get. Shrapnel ammo explodes and can stagger multiple enemies while also making them vulnerable to your other weapons. And since the rifle does not need to be drawn like a bow, you can actually shoot one of these at close range, then run in to finish off the staggered enemies. Like your other ammo types, gaining access to shrapnel ammo is as simple as upgrading the rifle, and by the time you get this weapon, you'll likely have the resources required to do so. If you want some great armors to pair with these abilities and weapons, make sure to check our best early armors video by clicking on the screen. Subscribe for more Ghost of Yotei content, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!